Hello students. In this video, let us continue with our properties of integers. We will now be covering distributive property. We know that for whole numbers, distributivity of multiplication over addition is true. What does this mean is that whenever we have the multiplication, that is a product operator, being applied to a group of members which are being added, which are being summed, then we can take this product operator and apply it to each of the members of the group individually and then sum them together. So this means that 16 into 10 plus 2 is equal to 16 into 10 plus 16 into 2. So what we are doing is we are distributing the product operator into each of the member of the sum group. Okay. Now let us check if this is true for integers also. Here we have our first example, minus 2 into 3 plus 5. So for us to solve this, let us solve the 3 plus 5 first. When we find the sum, we get that it is going to be 8. We are going to copy this 2 as it is to over here, and we are going to get minus 2 into 8. We know that when there is a positive and a negative number, we need to product them as whole numbers and then we need to add the negative sign. So the product is going to be minus 16. Now let us try distributing the product operator into 3 plus 5. When we distribute it, we get two groups. That is minus 2 into 3 and here we have minus 2 into 5. When we find the product of both these groups individually, for the first group we get minus 6 and for the second we get minus 10. So minus 2 into 3 is minus 6 and minus 2 into 5 is minus 10. And the sum of them is going to be minus 16. This means that whether we carried out the sum first, then found the product, or whether we distributed, found the product first and then did the sum, we will be getting the same answer, that is minus 16. We can check and verify for these two examples given below as well. Okay? But in general, can we say that the distributivity of multiplication over addition is true for integers also? Yes. In general, for any integers a, b and c, a into b plus c, let me take a box. So a into b plus c is equal to a into b plus a into c. Here we have two groups. So the first group is this one, that is a into b, and the next one is a into c. So we have distributed this product operator over b and c and we have kept the sum operator as it is in between them. Take at least 5 different values for each a, b and c and verify the above distributive property. Okay. Now we can try these. Is 10 into 6 plus minus 2 equal to 10 into 6 plus 10 into minus 2? So one way to solve this is to write this down in our notepad and find out the LHS value after simplification and RHS value after simplification. But instead of doing that, we can find a direct relation between our distributive property over here and our question. So we can see here that a is equal to 10, b is equal to 6 and c is equal to minus 2. When we apply the distributive property, we get the right hand side exactly as shown in our equation here. So we can directly say that this is true. Similarly, we can apply it also to the second example. I will leave the second example to you. Let us move on. Now consider the following. Can we say that 4 into 3 minus 8 is equal to 4 into 3 minus 4 into 8? So this is the distributive property applied over the negative sign. Let us check this. For us to find out 4 into 3 minus 8, we can do 3 minus 8 first. So 3 minus 8 is minus 5. We just find the difference of them as whole numbers and then keep the sign of the larger valued integer. In this case, it is minus 8. So finding the product of 4 and minus 5 is going to give us minus 20. Now let us try to do it the distributive way, where we distribute 4 into 3 and 4 into 8 and then find their difference. So 4 into 3 is 12 and 4 into 8 is 32 and their difference is going to be minus 20. So we can say that 4 into 3 minus 8 is equal to 4 into 3 minus 4 into 8. You can consider more examples as given here and you will find out that the distributive property holds for all these examples. So in general, for any three integers a, b and c, a into b minus c is equal to a into b minus a into c. Again, we have two groups here. That is, a into b has actually formed one group, that is a into b. And then we have a into c, that is the second group. And then we have this minus operator copied exactly to the right hand side. Again, take at least 5 different values for each a, b and c and verify this property. So we have some more examples through which we can verify this property. Again, in this case, we have the value of a to be equal to 10, b is equal to 6 and c is equal to minus 2. You can see that this is the direct application of this property, so you can be sure that this is true. You can also find their values individually as LHS and RHS and then verify them. Let us move on to the next section. This is called making multiplication easier. In this section, we will be learning different ways through which we can make our multiplication problems easier by applying the various properties that we have learned throughout this lesson. Consider the following. We can find minus 25 into 37 into 4 as, so here we are grouping two integers so that we can find the product of these three integers. In the first grouping, we are grouping minus 25 with 37. Okay, then we are multiplying it by 4 as shown here. And the answer is going to be minus 3700. However, there's a much easier way to do this, which is that instead of us grouping these two together, we can flip the positions of 4 and 37. Okay, we can so bring the 4 this side and we can do the multiplication of minus 25 and 4, then product it with 37. Why is it easier this way is because 25 into 4 is 100. So that is a fairly easier product to remember than 25 into 37. So 25 into 4 is 100. Because there's a negative sign here, it is negative 100. Then we find the product of 37 with minus 100 and we get the same answer, that is minus 3700. Obviously, the second way is easier because multiplication of minus 25 and 4 gives us minus 100, which is easier to multiply with 37. Note that the second way involves commutativity and associativity of integers. So how do we know that even when we flip the positions, the product is going to remain unchanged? This is because we know by the commutative and associative laws that even though we change the order, the product is going to remain the same. So we find that the commutativity, associativity and distributivity of integers help to make our calculations simpler. Let us further see how our calculations can be made easier using these properties. So here are more ways through which we can make our calculations easier. Just remember one common rule for all of these calculations, it is very easy for us to remember the multiplication tables up until 10. So if it is possible for us to reduce a calculation to a product of 10 and something that is less than 10, we will do that. So one of the applications there is as shown here. Instead of us finding 16 into 12, we are rewriting 12 as 10 plus 2. Okay, so 10 plus 2 is equal to 12. We can rewrite 12 as a group of 10 plus 2. Okay, then instead of directly finding the product, we apply the distributive law. When we apply the distributive law or distributive property, they're both the same. So when we apply it, we reduce 16 into 12 into one group of 16 into 10 and 16 into 2. These two are much easier to calculate individually than 16 into 12. Okay, so this is actually an expansion of the mechanical multiplication we do. Okay, but this is a much easier way to write it down. So we find that 16 into 10 is 160, 16 2s are 32, and their sum is going to be 192. But what about the cases like this where it is not possible for us to get it to 10? We can get it to any nearest number with a 0 in its units place. That is any number that is a product of 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and so on. Because when we have a 0 in units place, it is easier to do the calculation. The nearest number to 48 that has 0 in units place is 50. So we write 48 as the difference between 50 and 2. 50 minus 2. And then we do our calculations by using the distributive property. This reduces to 23 minus 23 into 50. And the negative sign, we are copying it down as it is. So here we have the negative sign. We are copying it down as it is to over here. Okay. And then we are doing minus 23 into 2. We find that their individual products are minus 1150 and minus 46. And thus the final answer is going to be minus 1104. Okay. So similarly, we have two more examples. The last example is particularly interesting because instead of us applying this property in the forward manner, we apply it in the reverse manner, where from the distributed form of it, we go back to the product and then sum form of it. So how do we do this is, observe here you have 52 and minus 52. So instead of us writing down the second part of this as minus 52 into plus 2, we can also write it down as 52 into minus 2. How is it possible that we have just flipped the negative sign? This is possible because whenever we are trying to find the product of a positive and negative number, what we do is we multiply them as whole numbers and then keep the negative sign. So when you're doing the first type also, we multiply them as 52 and 2 and then write the negative sign. So even when it is minus 2 or plus 2, we just multiply them as whole numbers and then keep the negative sign. So that is why it is possible for us to find their product and then keep the whole number. Because that is the case, as we can see here, we can write this as 52 into minus 8 plus 52 into minus 2. Given that 52 is common in both these products, we can take out 52 and we can write them as the sum of minus 8 and minus 2. So we know that the sum of minus 8 and minus 2 is minus 10, and we know that 52 times minus 10 is minus 520. Okay. So this is another way through which our multiplication can be made easier by the use of the distributive property. So here we have different problems which we can try and make easy using distributive property. You can try these one by one. They're exactly the same as the solved examples shown above. Okay. Also, we have more examples given down below. All of these are of the concepts that we learned in this lesson, including commutative, associative, and distributive properties. So go ahead and take a look at these examples. We will concentrate on the example 4 and example 5 before we move on to the exercise problems. So here is example 4. I will take you through these briefly before we can go on to exercise 1.3 in the next video. In a class test containing 15 questions, 4 marks are given for every correct answer. So every correct answer gets 4 marks and minus 2 marks are given for every incorrect answer. So if you solve the problem incorrectly, you get minus 2 marks. Gurpreet attempts all questions, but only 9 of her answers are correct. What is her total score? And the second part of the problem is one of her friends gets only 5 answers correct. What is her score? So this is a fairly easy problem where we know that there is a test of 15 questions and 4 marks are given for every correct answer. And Gurpreet, she attempts all the questions but only 9 of her answers are correct. So this means that if 9 of her answers are correct, then out of the total 15, how many of her questions are wrong? 6 of her questions are incorrect. So keep this in mind and then we can look at the solution here. The marks that is given for every correct answer is 4. We know this from the question. So for 9 correct answers, the total marks that Gurpreet scores is 36. Okay. And we just saw that total 6 of her questions were solved incorrectly. And for every incorrect answer, we get a minus 2 marking awarded. This means that the total incorrect answer she has is 6. So the total negative marking she gets is minus 2 times 6, that is minus 12. This means that her total score is 36 minus 12, that is 24. Okay. Moving on to the second part, if one of her friends gets only 5 answers correct. So out of the 15, one of her friends gets only 5 correct. So how many does her friend get wrong? It's 15 minus 5. So she gets 10 questions incorrectly. Therefore, what is the total score is? You need to take for the correct answer, you need to give positive 4 points. For each incorrect answer, you need to give negative 2 points. So she solved 5 correctly. That means she gets 4 times 5, 20 points. And she solved 10 questions incorrectly. That means she gets minus 20 points because of her wrong answers. So her friend's total score is 0 because the positive and the negative cancel each other out. Okay. Next we move on to example 5. Suppose we represent the distance above the ground by a positive integer and below the ground by a negative integer. So assume that this is a ground and whatever is above it is positive and whatever is below it is negative. So you can assume that whatever is below it is negative and whatever is above the ground is positive. Okay. So this is ground level. Let us assume ground level is 0. So the first question is, an elevator descends into a mine shaft at the rate of 5 meter per minute. Okay. So an elevator descends. Descends means it's going down. Okay. So descend is going down. And what is the rate, what is the speed of the elevator is? It's going down at the rate of 5 meter per minute. And we want its position after 1 hour. Let us look at its solution. Given that it is going down, since the elevator is going down, the distance covered by it will be represented by a negative integer. Okay, because if it is going down, then we're going towards the negative side. Change in position of the elevator in 1 minute is minus 5 meters. So for every minute, it is getting displaced by 5 meters below the ground. So it is minus 5 meters. After 1 hour, 1 hour is 60 minutes. So after 1 hour, if we want to find the position of the elevator, we need to displace it by minus 5 60 times. Okay, so we need to displace it by minus 5 meters 60 times, and thus it is going to be at minus 300 meters or 300 meters down from the starting position of the elevator. Okay. Next, if it begins to descend from 15 meters above the ground, what will its position be after 45 minutes? So instead of starting here at 0, the elevator is starting somewhere high up here at 15 meters above the ground. So what will its position be after 45 minutes if it begins a downwards descent? Okay, so it is starting at 15 meters above the ground. It is moving down for 45 minutes at the rate of 5 meters per minute. Let us look at the solution. Change in position of the elevator in 45 minutes is going to be, assume that it is going, we know that it is going at minus 5 meter per minute. So if it goes on for 45 minutes, it goes at minus 225 meters. Okay. So if it were starting at 0, then it would have been 225 meters below the ground level. But we know that it is starting at plus 15. This is because it is starting at 15 meters above the ground, and we know that whatever is above the ground, it is represented by positive integers. So to find the final position, we need to find the sum of its final position, that is minus 225, and its initial position, that is plus 15. So we get the answer as it is now at minus 210 meters, that is it is 210 meters below the ground level. In the next video, we will look into the exercise 1.3. We will solve all of them one by one. I will see you all in the next video.